All right, we are rolling. Rolling. Those doggies are rolling right. All right, we're back from the break.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To Northwest Dive Club.
To Northwest Dive Club. To Calvin Tang. Our God.
You know, I'm like, if you look at the list of new members or members,
yeah,
I'm like number 4.
Are you? Okay.
There's thousands now.
Yeah, I got to see where I'm at. Well,
you're probably in double digits. I
don't know. Do you remember when at one point in time, Sounder had the most posts, and it was like we were trying to keep up to have the most. The most posts, right?
I think the only one that rode close to that was Tom Nick.
And Sounder was just posting to post. Yeah. He was just posting to get his number up there, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're back from the break.
Okay.
If we're going to talk about Sitka.
Yeah.
When was the first year that you had gone up to Sitka with somebody on the board? And who was
Tom Nick.
No, there was another guy. There was an earlier guy that went up there.
Yeah, he was from Oregon.
Was it Pnw Diver? No.
I can't remember his screen name.
So you first went up with him, right?
I first went with Tom Nick, the very first trip.
Okay, so the first trip to Sitka.
Yeah, and I think that was 2010, actually.
All right. So you and Tom Nick go up for the first year.
Yep.
And then...
That was the first year was the time we got harassed by the sea lions.
When was the second trip? Who was on the second trip the next year? Because I don't remember. I know that I went up. I went up to Alaska.
You were in 2012,
but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember the year or the time. So you go up with Tom Nick first year. Then who's on round 2?
That was this guy from down in Oregon. His name is Jeff. First name Jeff, not Poggy guy, but yeah. So it was this, and he couldn't believe because I was looking for somebody to go, and Tom couldn't go, and I kept saying, "Who wants to go? Who wants to go?" And he said, "I'll go." Okay, let's go. I never even met the guy.
And so Keith here worked for Alaska Airlines, so
free flights.
He gets what's called vouchers. So every year he gets was it 5? How many vouchers would you get?
About 5 a year.
All right, so Alaska Airlines, you get 5 vouchers, which is basically round trip anywhere that Alaska Airlines flies, and it's standby.
Yes.
So
it's a different way of flying.
So it's standby. If you miss the plane, or if the plane is full with paying people, you get booted to the next flight.
Right.
Now tell the good people about the milk run. Alaska Airlines does what's called a milk run flight.
It runs all around Alaska, all the different stops.
Yeah.
And you got to make all the different stops to get to your stop. So it's a long way home.
And it's a 10-hour flight.
Yes.
So, and what do they load on the plane? What do they load on? They load on the mail, right?
Mail,
the milk run.
And a lot of fish.
And fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Alaska Airlines has what's called the milk run, and that's a 10-hour flight. And you sit on that damn thing until you get to the city.
Yeah.
Have you done that one? Have you ever been on the
I actually never had to do it.
Okay.
I've always threatened, but never did.
Oh, so by the way, this is Keith. This is the Bassman, or as we call him, the Bassman.
Bassman.
Welcome to the interview, Mr. Keith.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. Okay, so we're talking about Sitka. So second year, Oregon guy goes up. Again, we stay at Dave's house. Now this is the third year. This is third year going up. So now I'm on board with you and Rick.
And Rick, yes.
And
that's either 2012 or 2013.
And that was it. So the first year it's me, you, Rick.
I think Tom came for part of that trip.
No, this is our first trip.
Oh, that was the first year. You're right.
So on the first trip. So now this is your third trip up. I'm going up. I don't know what to expect.
Your very first dive is like Naughty Rock.
Yeah. So we get up to Sitka. We get off the plane. Diver Dave. We go to his house. We unpack, and Dave's got tanks. Dave's got rags. The whole downstairs of this house is like insane. It's like dive garage sale extraordinaire, because when you live in Sitka, you either have to buy the gear, which is really expensive, or you keep gear and you rebuild it as you can, because you're in Alaska.
And Dave's the cucumber diver, just keep buying new every year.
And so Dave's got all this gear. He's got rags. He's got a crap load of tanks.
And all the weight you ever want.
All the weights. I mean, he had at least, I mean, I'll throw up photos, but I mean, shit, in the yard there was what, 20, 25, 30 tanks?
Oh, more than that.
And he's like, God, just grab one. They're all good. And I'm like, has it been VIP? Ah, no, it's good. Has it been hydroed? Nah, it's good. Just bring it. Put it on. Just fill it up. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we get in the truck. We go down. Let's see. So the first year. Okay, so Dave has a boat. Dave has a trawler boat.
The Mariner.
Yeah. So he's got a big
boat. He's got
boat.
a new one now, but that's the one he had.
So the original boat. There's a photo. The original boat, we get on that boat, and that is our way to dive. So I think our first dive is Camp Coogan.
Probably could be, I would imagine.
So Camp Coogan, you come out of Sitka, you hang a right, and you go into an inlet. And then there's a buoy.
Is that the dive we were breaking ice getting out of the harbor?
No, that
was the next year?
That's later year, yeah. So you get on the boat, you go to Camp Coogan, we're right there, you anchor on the buoy, and there's a trawler there. There's a trawler, and then there's a sailboat. Yeah. So up top, you come down the line, trawler's sitting like this, here's the shore, and then there's a sailboat here. So we dive the trawler, and we're all like, woo! Woo! We're all like, Sitka, Sitka! And we're diving in the trawler, woo! We do the sailboat, we get out, and then we eat on the boat, because we're freezing our asses off, because it's... When did we go up? Was it... It was somewhere in February.
I'm thinking somewhere about that.
We would go up the same time.
Yeah, usually probably around February, March. You know.
So we do that. We do McNaughty. So McNaughty Rock.
No, that was incredible.
McNaughty Rock is a mound, a pinnacle, underwater mountain. On the top of it,
it's like 15 feet.
You can see the waves breaking. If it's a nasty day, the waves are breaking.
Otherwise, you're about 15 feet. You're on top of the waves. You're rolling around.
Yeah. And so the surge and the kelp. The one dive, I have it on video, man. We're just getting. I mean, we're getting punched like 20 feet forward.
Like 10-foot surges there. Yeah.
So we do McNaughty, the mound. We anchored, dropped, I think...
About 90 feet to the bottom.
We swam over to the... So on the first dive, I think we were actually near the rock. We basically went back up the anchor line, got back on Dave's boat. I know other dives we had anchored out in front of McNaughty, and you and Tom Nick and Carter, Rob Carter and Norris, you guys had... I got so seasick that year, I was on top. For the third year, I was on top because I was sick. I was sick as a dog, so I stayed on the boat. And then you gave me a pill for seasickness, which was meclizine.
Yeah. Knock you out. Drug dealer.
And Keith's like, I got a pill for seasickness. I'm like, sweet. Give it to me. No. God, I don't know. I think I did make it home, but for me, I was already seasick. So it was too late.
Too late.
Yeah. Once it comes on, it comes on. Okay, so second year, it snowed at Sitka. I think the thing about going to Sitka for you and me. Was Dave's bottle collection.
Oh, incredible. And the bottle hunting, yeah.
You know, that's...
Absolutely.
When Dave would tease us with the photographs, you know, oh yeah, bottles in the harbor, man. Bottles in the harbor. Just come on up.
They showed me his book, a bottle. It was like a whiskey bottle worth
$200
and $500, and then it comes over my shoulder. I'm like, he said, and here's his sister.
Yeah, it was a bourbon. It was a bourbon bottle.
Yeah, he has a bunch of them.
He's like, I have 4 of them. They're worth $4,000. But yeah, the bottle hunting. So, that was my allure to go up there was to get some of these bottles. You know?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because just the little medicine bottles that he had, and you know, there they just threw them into the water.
And it's all about the mighty blob top. The blob top.
The blob top. Yes. And those and actually I do have a couple of them. The blue torpedo bottle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is it's actually a seltzer bottle. It's blue, looks like a torpedo, and it's got a blob on it. And then some of them are rounded like a
round bottom bottle,
like a teardrop.
Cups and everything, yeah.
All right, so we get up to Sitka, and Diver Dave says, "You want to find some stuff? You want to find some stuff? We're gonna go to the hellhole."
The hellhole. And how Dave dives that when he gets down in the silt?
Oh, the hellhole.
Gets a stick in his arms. He says, you see a silt going past, and he's digging. It's amazing.
So the hellhole in Sitka so the cruise ships come in and they have their own dock in Sitka. They built these big specific docks for the cruise ships, and that's where the hellhole is. There was. I don't remember the story if there was a dock there at one time, but this is where they dumped. They dumped everything. Sorry, I'm drinking beer and burping. So Dave goes, "We're going to the hellhole." So we get on the boat. He throws the anchor in, and he says, "Here we are."
Oh, and we went to retrieve that 1 acre, that 500.
No, that's a different story.
Different day.
Yeah. So this is the hellhole.
Right.
So I'm like, well, what are we doing? He's like, just get in the water. Just start digging. So I think we're in 45 or 50 feet of water.
Yeah. About 40, 50. Yeah.
About like 50 something. So anyway, we get down.
Silt everywhere.
And it's just, the bottom is this black, it's like lake goo. It's this goo, it goes up to your arm.
And the bottles are below that.
And they're down in the goo. So this is classical Diver Dave. We get in the water and he's gone. He's in, he's gone, and then all of a sudden we start seeing these clouds. these ominous clouds just coming out of nowhere. And I'm like, what's going on?
That's Dave.
Yeah. Like, who's stirring up the biz? And so, sure enough, here's Dave, man. Frickin' both arms, and it's like braille. It's like diving by braille. You're in this goo, and you're just feeling around. Your arm's deep in this muck, and you're just like, it's like braille diving. You feel something, you grab it, you pull it up, you get it in your hands. You can't see anything, and then you're like trying to distinguish.
So keep it?
You know. What did you find at the hellhole?
Couple blob top bottles, a couple these old Nurser bottles, which I found in the Atlanta Antique Gallery. It said these old Nurser bottles. Yeah. It says pure on them, and it looks like a nipple going. They're worth like $150 a piece. Yeah. Then I found one on eBay. Somebody was selling it for like $5. So my bottle's not worth shit.
Yeah.
I should have bought the $5 model, so I'd have $250 models, but that's an afterthought.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of neat little bottles, and
yeah.
I found I found more of the stuff I would find in the harbor. Interesting stuff like a Batman action figure and a few bullets.
Yeah, the good stuff seemed to be in the harbor under the docks.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the majority of the stuff. But the other thing I think too is, I think Dave has cleaned it out. You know?
Well, and Sitka diver, Dave Nelson, he had some secret spots that he wouldn't even tell people. He'd take you there, but he wouldn't tell you where it's at. And he had some pretty nice piles.
Yeah. And see, that's the funny thing about, if you think about, 1800s, the early 1900s, I'm on a couple bottle forums, and they'll go to towns, just like we have old towns here, and they'll just start digging, because a lot of the old towns had a dump where they would bury it,
or an old outhouse location where Grandpa threw his whiskey bottles.
Yeah, so a lot of these people it's called dry bottle hunting. A lot of these guys will just start digging in the dirt.
They're common over in Europe, I heard. Yeah.
And just like you said, we find a bottle underwater, and we're all excited.
It's like coin collecting.
Yeah, and then we go on eBay, and you find one that's been in the ground, which is like 90% looking almost brand new. They don't have barnacles and crap all going over them. But the thing about being a bottle hunter and a diver is that you find a bottle, and it's got like this. I found this bottle. So then you research it, who made it, where it came from.
Yeah, all the markings, you start Googling it.
But here's the big disappointment, ladies and gentlemen. You go online and you find the same bottle in way better condition for like $2.
Right. It's what somebody's going to pay for it.
And then your hopes go,
I got hundreds of bottles until my daughter says, one day these will all be yours. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. But yeah, some of those, there's a couple bottles that I still want to find here. There was a guy that found like a Seattle bourbon or a Seattle whiskey bottle. It was cool.
I found a Seattle syrup bottle.
Yeah.
At Three Tree. It was pretty cool. It looked like a whiskey bottle with a twisted neck. And it was Seattle Syrup Company on the bottom. And I researched it. I found a New York Times ad online that talked about the Seattle Syrup Company, the big fire that started in Seattle in the 1800s or something like that. The fire started below the Seattle Syrup Company, so it had all the history to it. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah. So Sitka, what were some of the things about Sitka that kept bringing me and you and Rick back up there? What was it for you to go to Sitka? What was it? Was it just because it was Sitka and it was somewhere different than Puget Sound?
It was like Puget Sound on steroids.
Yeah.
Everything was bigger. Like that lemon peel nudibranch that we saw that was bigger than my flashlight. It was like
Coogan.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. So everything was bigger there, and that was fun. And of course, visibility most of the time was pretty good.
The Viz, yeah. I would say it was for the Viz, the bottles, and just being at Diver Days. Well, and the other cool thing is we could go into the P bar.
Yeah.
So we would dive in the harbor,
walk across the street in our dry suits. And go have a whiskey at the P bar.
And go have a drink at the P bar. But the problem with the Pioneer Bar is Dave's family owned the Pioneer Bar, and so he hated Dave didn't like going.
There was some history there.
Yeah, he didn't like to go into the bar just because of.
He wouldn't stay very long.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm out of here.
He's like, I grew up in that bar. I don't like that bar. I'll go in, we'll have a drink, but then I'm going to get the hell out. So it was cool though to find out that that's a very famous bar in Sitka, the Pioneer Bar. A lot of fishermen from all walks of life. And then the herring season, we were going to go up there one year and work herring season. We were going to cut. So in herring season, they all run over each other. They run over the nets. And we were going to go up there and cut the nets out of props. And they have these little, what are those little red knives that they sell that'll take your finger right off.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the anchor story.
What an experience. Dave said we're going to go find a 500-pound anchor and help retrieve it.
That's right. So the word is we're going to get an anchor. Okay, so I'm thinking this just happened. Okay, a boat lost a big ass anchor, which is kind of weird though, because why did they cut the anchor off the ship? I mean, It was what is it? 200 pound? I mean,
it's a 500-pound anchor.
It's a giant ass anchor.
It's about the size of Volkswagen.
Okay.
It was a good sized anchor. Yeah.
So we're at the house. We get up there, and
Dave has the coordinates. He knows exactly where it's at.
So I remember when we would go up there, Dave would always say, "You guys, I got jobs." Excuse me, I'm burping because I'm drinking beer. He's like, "I got jobs. You guys can work. You know, you can make some money up here." Dave says, "Hey, we have an anchor job. We're gonna retrieve an anchor. We're gonna find the anchor. We're gonna put a float on it,
or tie a rope to it.
Yeah, and we're gonna put a marker on it, and then we're gonna call over the big boat, and the big boat is going to pull the anchor up."
Yeah.
Hold on to your hats, kids, because this is
Dave says, "Go down and look for a rope."
This is a crazy ass story. Okay, so we get on site. It's me, you, and Rick. That's it. We get in the water. Now, typical Dave.
Right there.
Listen up, guys. You're going to find the anchor. No screwing up. You're going to get in the water. You're going to find the anchor. Okay? You get in. You find the anchor. No screwing up. No looking for bottles. No looking for nothing. You get in the water. You find that anchor.
Yep.
Can we drink to that?
Absolutely.
All right.
He said, "Go find the rope."
He goes, and then he said, "So here's the boat here. We're in this like cove thing, right? We're in this cove thing. Here's the boat. We're in this cove." Dave says, "It's that way. Go that way." Okay. We're looking for an anchor, people. We get in the water. We're all on our compass, and we're swimming, and we're swimming. And it's what, 30? It's like 30,
30
40,
feet.
yeah, 30, 35
not
feet,
deep.
40 feet. You can see. So we found something.
A rope.
And then there was a sailboat, and the rope went
under that.
And it was a dead end. It was a dead end, people. So you and I, we're underwater. I'm looking at you, and I'm like, rope? Dead end.
Yeah, a boat's on top of it.
Okay, so we all surface. And we get to the surface, and what happens?
Dave says, "That's the rope."
He goes, "What are you doing? Why are you on the surface? That boat is waiting for you guys to find the anchor." And we're on the surface, and we're like, "We can't find it. We can't find the anchor." Right?
We found a rope, and the boat is on top of it.
Okay, now what did you think? Because I'm going to tell everybody out there in Diamond Land, what did you think that the anchor had to, did you think that they lost the anchor like a couple weeks ago? I mean, what was your impression?
I really had no idea at that point.
Right.
No. Yeah, I just knew it was Dave needed help getting it. He achieved himself.
Okay. It turns out that this anchor got lost like 2-3 years ago.
Right, it's been a while.
I thought it had just happened. That's the first problem on this recovery. Oh, it happened three years ago.
Deep in the silt.
Okay, so then it's a bust.
No, we finally did hook the rope up to it. So
but hang on. Hang on. It's a bust. There was a bust. Something happened. I don't remember. We all get back on the boat, but now the current is pushing Dave's boat into the Coast Guard dock, and you and I have to go down and I'm not going to swear in this episode because people got upset that I used too many F-bombs in the last episode.
Okay.
You and I had to go do something because the winch
and his anchor wouldn't work.
Okay, so Dave could not pull up his anchor.
Right. And we didn't believe him.
And this is messed up.
we thought you're messing with us.
This is a messed up story right here. This is where everything just goes wrong. You and I, and Dave's just, he's upset. Let's just put it that way. There are words flying.
We wouldn't believe him that his winch was broken.
But he
was messing with us.
I don't know what. The whole thing was we should have stayed at home and drank beer. Okay. So you and I, there was something going on with the boat. We had to get back in the water. I got probably, I don't know, 1,500 pounds.
We had to tie it up.
We're low on air. We had to go down. We had to go down to the anchor, run
another line through it.
And you were in charge of that. I was just there to supervise. Okay, so I'm there to back up the buddy thing. Okay, so we get in the water. We go down to the anchor, and then all of a sudden, he's moving the boat.
Yeah.
He's moving the boat as we are doing some kind of recovery. So now, was it you? The rope's getting tangled. As he's moving, the rope's getting tangled on you.
Right, yeah.
And it's going around your back. So I have to take the rope, and I'm screaming in my rag. I'm like, what you doing? The boat, he's moving the boat.
Right.
So now the rope's moving, and I've got to untangle you.
Mm-hmm.
And I get you untangled, and we come up, man, and you are just...
It's not there.
Keith's mad.
His anchor line just goes into silt, and there's no anchor.
Keith's like, what are you doing? We're down there. This is diver safety protocol. What are you doing? And I'm like, do you know what the hell just happened? The rope's around Keith, and I'm trying to take the rope off, and you're moving the boat. Okay, let's talk about some of the funny crap though, because.
Well, I love this story about what I want to tell real quick. My scariest probably dive to date was my very first dive in Sitka. Dave was on the board, Northwest Dive Club, saying, come to Sitka and dive.
Yeah.
And since I was working for Alaska, I could fly there free. Of course, I was like, where do I stay? Where do I rent weights? And where do I rent tanks? And he's like, I got it all, you stay with me. So, not knowing Dave, I said, I got to take somebody with me. So Tom Nick was my normal dive buddy, and I said, hey Tom, I'll fly you up there if you come with me.
Yeah.
And the very first night, I wanted to do a night dive, because I'm all about the night dives.
Yeah.
Always have been. And so Dave said, we'll dive in the harbor when it gets dark, and no problem. So,
okay, hang on. Are you going to dive in the harbor, or are you going to go to the trawler in the harbor?
No, this was just diving in the harbor.
Okay, so we're going to go under the docks.
And so we're gearing up, and I think, you weren't there. No, it was just me and Tom. Anyways, so we're getting
this
water.
Is before crazy H2O doctor.
So I pull out of my dive gear bag some of those snap chemical glow sticks.
Oh yeah, the glow sticks, yeah.
And I snap them, and I'm tying it on the tanks, the valves. And Dave says, "What's that for?" I said, "Well, in case our light goes out, and you're leading the dive, we're gonna put one on your tank valve too." So knock yourself out. Go ahead. I don't care. So put a tank to light on his one. We get in the water, and we're about 10 minutes into the dive, and something hits me and shoves me down to the silt, like somebody just pushed me with their hand.
Oh yeah.
And I looked over at Tom Nick, saying like, "Why'd you do that?" And his eyes are about this big, and whatever hit me just hit him too. I knew right away. Then I see something go past me, and a face look at me of this seal, and I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is the biggest seal I've ever seen."
Oh, so it was a stellar sea lion.
It was a stellar sea lion, not a little harbor seal like I'm used to diving with.
Yeah.
And it came by and it hit me again, and it was like bumping a grown man bumping into a toddler. Mm-hmm. And so it pushed me down the silt again. And this time I see it go by me, and I realized how big it was. I'm like, oh my, this is bigger than me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when you're looking for your dive buddy, you look everywhere. The last place you look is up.
Yeah.
You don't think your dive buddy's going to be above you. I look up, and there was that sea lion face to face with me, and I screamed like a girl underwater. Bubbles everywhere, and chased it off. I didn't know that would chase it away. And then Dave comes over to me and Tom, and he said, and so we surfaced immediately. Dave was like, he knows that sea lions will feel with their teeth.
Yeah.
When he felt this thing grab a whole top of his head, he was like, dives over.
Dives over.
And we were trying to figure out why we were getting harassed. I said, well, how big was that sea? He says, oh, it was just a small 800-pound female.
Yeah.
And we're like, he said, well, you should see Big Earl.
Big Earl, yeah.
Which recently died up in Sitka.
Yeah, Earl.
And Earl, so how big is Big Earl? And he said, 2,500 pounds. We said, get us out of the water. turns out we figured out it was the glow sticks that the sea lion was playing with. We'd never seen them before. It was just playing with
Thought
them.
it was something.
We just had to be attached to the other end. So that was always the joke on subsequent trips is who's going to wear the glow stick on the tank.